great at home, right? And winning division games at home. And that's what we did for 4 quarters. Give yourself a round of applause. Hey, this ain't easy. It ain't easy, right? And it takes all of us every single time we step on the field, right? And we got to be at our very best. All right, this guy, all right, first time in NFL history, has had 3 touchdowns on the same team 3 games in a row. JT. Hey, there's so many guys that make plays, all right? So many guys that make plays. Chris Lamont's, where you at? Hey, defense only giving up 14 points. Offensively, scoring 38. Anytime you can score over 30 points in this freaking league, you got a chance to win. Hell of a job on the offense. Hey, I'll say this, all right? Our vision, right? We talked about it earlier in spring. It happened in the spring, right? We're grounded. We're grounded in elite character, right? Consistent execution and relentless preparation where everyone in here embraces the grind, right, and leads with purpose. That's what we're chasing, fellas. Every day to be the very best. And it's one day at a time. And we cannot let up. We got a huge one coming up, fellas. We're in Pittsburgh in a hostile environment, right? And it's one we got to go get. And it's one we got to go get.
Especially division games. So like he said, we coming in tomorrow, and let's get our mind right for next week. We're not stopping. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Go.
Hello and welcome to the Colts Blue Zone Podcast. Matt Adams in here for Dave Griffiths and Mike Chappell, looking back at the Colts and their Week 8 win against the Tennessee Titans. This game, 38-14, the final score at home. The Colts have not lost a home game this year. Kind of expected this game to be a blowout, and, you know, for a little bit of the game, it wasn't. Up at halftime, it was a 17-7 lead for the Colts. The Titans faced a 3rd and 3. They got stuffed on the opening possession after the kickoff in the third quarter. They decided not to go for it on the 4th and 3. They punted. Ball went in the end zone for a touchback. Jonathan Taylor takes the ball 80 yards. Colts go up 24-7 at that point, and that was all she wrote for this ball game. Just another impressive performance by the Indianapolis Colts. Let's take a look at those AFC South standings right now. Colts up at 7-1. Jacksonville was idle this week. The Texans got themselves a win this week, and then, of course, the Titans, being the Colts' opponent, fall to 1-7 as their misery on the season continues. Overall, Colts, again, with the most wins in the NFL, best record in the league at 7-1. Green Bay right up there, right behind them, 5-1-1 on that season. And then you've got some pretty good teams there, too. Impressive start by New England at 6-2. I'm looking at the AFC here. Denver Broncos at 6-2. And really, the most important thing for the Colts is that the only loss that they've had this season came to an NFC team, and that should help them as they get to a tougher stretch of the schedule here at the back half of the season. So really just good, all good things for the Indianapolis Colts so far in this season. Let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. This was just another great game from him. I mean, what else can you say? Just the superlatives about his season. You know, just 12 carries for 153 yards this week. He averaged almost 13 yards per carry. A couple of touchdowns on the ground. One more touchdown through the air. You've got to put that in quotes, but it was kind of a jet sweep thing, but it was a pitch pass, so it counts as a pass. But 3 touchdowns this week for Jonathan Taylor as he propels the team to a 38-14 win. And my goodness gracious, you know, the crowd started chanting MVP, MVP, MVP. And it's become a quarterback award in the NFL. It's really not the most valuable player award. It hasn't been for several years. It's really the best quarterback award. They should just rename it, honestly. And so the thought process is that quarterback will probably win the award, and Jonathan Taylor would be Offensive Player of the Year, because that's kind of how things go. If Saquon Barkley can't win it after rushing for 2,000 yards, then it's going to be very hard. But I tell you what, there is no more valuable player for any team in the NFL than Jonathan Taylor. He's having a great season, and just thank goodness for him. He sets up everything. He's able to run the ball. He's able to manufacture big plays thanks to that offensive line. And then the play action game just works off that run action for the Colts, and it is really clicking for them. Let's listen in on head coach Shane Steichen.
Injury updates, just Anthony Gould. It's got a knee, and that's all I got right now. Overall, obviously huge to get a win at home, especially a division opponent, was big. I thought our guys did a great job defensively, holding them to 14, and then offensively scoring 38 points there. And thought JT had a hell of a game. Obviously the big runs there. Daniel played awesome again. O-line protected well. The pass rush was getting there. I thought it was just a great team win. I don't know, it's impressive. It's hard to put into words, to be honest, because when you see the way he's running, the way the guys are blocking for him, I mean, it's special. It really is. And he's running, like I said, he's running hard, he's running physical. Even when things aren't clean in there, he's finding ways to get 3-4, and then the 80-yard touchdown run, hit that thing down the sidelines and stay in bounds. It was as impressive as it gets.
The way he sets up blocks in play,
yeah.
Is that something just you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, it's rare, right? That's some of those things. It's the patience. I think it's kind of in your DNA a little bit. You know, when you're a young player, then as you get going and you start to see it more and more and more, and you get comfortable with your O-line and how they're setting up blocks and the communication and how it's coming together, it's good. It's real good.
Shane, on your visit to the sideline, did you hear the MVP chants?
I did. Validated. Validated.
Do you ever, does it surprise you when you do this, or do you see it so often that you make that just other?
I mean, I've seen it since I've been here, but it's on another level this year for sure. Just the way he's rolling, and the O-line setting up the blocks, and the tight ends and the receivers blocking on the perimeter for him. It's awesome.
What did you learn about JT? I didn't hear on every day versus having respect for him as an opponent.
Yeah, I think he puts in the work. I think he's a guy that guys are always pulling for. Always positive energy, positive juice, in that locker room and on the practice field. So it's great.
What does what Daniel can do for you guys under center as a quarterback? Like, how does that help? I feel like open up things for Johnson in any way?
It opens us a whole bunch. I mean, we're able to have 2-3 calls in the huddle that he can get us to, and that's the preparation. Obviously, we put a lot on his plate. He made a ton of plays today, checking out the line of scrimmage, and we had plays called that we talked throughout the week that aren't even like, hey, if you get this, they ain't get great look, get to this, and he did it spectacular today.
The catch, one hand zone, describe that play and also how well he played.
Yeah, it was ridiculous is what it was. Obviously, I think he was a PI as well, too, and he made the play. It'll be great to go back and watch the tape. I'm sure you guys saw the TV copy already. We were looking for a specific look. They didn't play that specific look, but it was trust in Daniel and trust in Pittman, just giving him a chance there to go make a play, and just a spectacular catch.
The same thing with the trust in Daniel. You guys getting that third and all to him, hit the shot from years.
Yeah.
What does it take for a quarterback to get that sort of like, you know what, we're third and all, we've got to be out here.
Yeah, I think because he knows if it ain't there, he can check it down, and we can live for another down. And that's the preparation, that's the experience, that he has. And obviously they gave us a one-on-one shot there and went up, and Alec made a hell of a play.
What does it say about maybe the
Turnovers and 6 out of your 8 games.
Yeah.
I mean, just how big a piece of the overall puzzle is that?
It's huge. I mean, you take care of the football, and you get takeaways on defense, you're going to win a lot of football games, and you're doing a great job doing that for us.
What does it say maybe about the health of this offense that you haven't had a 100-yard receiver in a game yet this year?
I know, we were 5 yards away today. We were talking about it on the sideline a little bit, and it was like, hey, you want that 100 yards? And it was like, I don't want to put you back out there. And he was great. He's like, I'm good. And that was the selflessness, too, of him saying, like, I'm good, coach. Don't worry about it. And so I thought that was great.
I'm sure you're living in the moment right now, week to week, but have you taken any time in to appreciate the historic pace this offense is on?
I mean, you're kind of just taking it day by day, and you really don't have time to think about it. I mean, I think, again, it's a credit to our guys, the way they're preparing each and every week. It's a credit to our coaching staff. Like I said, I just think Jim Bob does a phenomenal job with the offense week in and week out, getting those guys ready to go. It's top-notch, and the detail that goes into it from a preparation standpoint that he does with those guys to get them ready to go. And then those guys going out and execute the plan has been phenomenal.
I know you're week to week, but like, what are the emotions like when you're on such a heater like this to start the season?
I think you just stay even keeled, to be honest. I think we understand we got a huge one coming up against Pittsburgh. It's going to be a hostile environment next Sunday. So we got to come in, go to work tomorrow, get ready to roll for these guys, put this game to bed, and move on to Pittsburgh.
With so many games on the road coming up, some of these like Chiefs that big teams can't see. How important was it to get off of this start?
Yeah, I think you always want to start fast in this league. Every team, all 32 teams, are trying to start fast and go win as many as you can. But I think September, November, great. But I think the season starts November, December, and so that's where it really starts to pick up. You got to play your very best, starting in these next 2 months.
The addition of Daniel aside, what do you feel like is the biggest year-to-year difference in this offense and consistency and just the way you guys have been rolling?
Well, I think things take time, and it's year 3 in the system for a lot of these guys, and they're starting to gel, and a lot of them have been here playing together, communication piece of it, and then obviously adding Daniel to the fold and his experience and his knowledge of the game. And getting a tight end like Tyler Warren in the first round to help that part of the game. It's been great.
Warren's sideline, were you able to see if he stepped in or out? We were all like,
oh, yeah, I was standing right there, and they're like, my guy upstairs. He's like, I said, I'm standing right there. It's good. It's good. So, but, yeah, it was a great run, great block. It was awesome.
All right, thanks.
All right.
That was Indianapolis head coach Shane Steichen after the Colts' 38-14 win over the Tennessee Titans. Again, they moved to 7-1 on the season, best record in the AFC South, best record in the league. Really have set themselves up here in the back half of the season, giving themselves some wiggle room if they need it, because they do have some tough games coming up. Next week, they'll be up against the Steelers. It's a road game. Steelers are not a great team, but they've lost 2 in a row. They really need to kind of get back on top. They're on top of the AFC North, but they really need to kind of, get some more distance there. So they're going to be a kind of an angry football team with the Colts coming in for week 9. So, and then we'll have games against upcoming Kansas City and the Seahawks. And so the schedule does get a bit tougher for the Indianapolis Colts, but they have done everything they need to do so far. Let's talk a little bit about that Colts defense. They held the Titans to 14 points. They got 4 sacks. They got a lot of pressure. Essentially, the defense did its job this week, and it wasn't the greatest, most dominant defensive performance on the face of the earth. No, but they did what they needed to do. They held the Titans to 7 points in the first half. They really didn't give up a lot of yardage. They made it tough. They didn't give up. They did give up a couple of big plays, but nothing too concerning. And then they were able to get to Cam Ward. Most of that pressure, though, coming from the interior. You had Adebawore and Gallimore and Buck getting some sacks. They did get one with Kenny Moore, a combined sack with Kenny Moore and Latu kind of off the edge there. So that's probably the one thing you do get a little bit concerned about is the edge rush. And we've talked about a little bit during the season on the podcast. So I'm sure you're probably sick of hearing about it, but you do have some concerns about that. But the other good thing for the defense, they still managed to manufacture a turnover. They've had at least 1 turnover in every game this year. So, and that has helped this team, do in great strides, right? Because they're getting turnovers from the other team, and then offensively, they're just not turning the ball over that much. We had another game with Daniel Jones this week under Steichen. The Colts score 30-plus points again. Daniel Jones, no turnovers for him. He did get sacked a handful of times this week. 3 sacks. I think that's the season high, obviously, for the Colts this year. But for the most part, again, he completed 72% of his passes, threw for more than 250 yards again, 3 touchdown passes. He had 1 to Downs. He had 1 to Pittman. And then, of course, the pitch to JT as well for his 3rd touchdown. Had a couple of scrambles, but just the fact that you have a 3rd and long play where you can just look downfield, get the coverage that you want, and find Alec Pierce for a gigantic gain to pick up a first down. I mean, what else can you say about Daniel Jones and this Indianapolis Colts offense? They've done it game in and game out, not turning the ball over very much, and not getting sacked very much, and just churning out the yards and getting the key plays when they need them. So let's hear from quarterback Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I think that was huge. Early in the second half right there to come out and have that play. I think it was our first play in the second half. Yeah, huge play. Incredible run by him to stay in bounds. Given that, blocked really well up front too. Those guys did a great job. So, yeah, huge play in the game.
What do you and Steichen do for each other? Why is this working so well?
Well, 80-yard runs help for sure. The way JT's playing, the way the guys up front are playing, receivers, made some really big plays today, and then, yeah, I think as far as it goes with Shane, just the communication's been really good. I've talked about that before, but just throughout the week and understanding how he wants to see the game played, how he sees it unfolding, gives me a good idea of how to handle certain situations and make decisions based on kind of how he sees it. So I think, yeah, communication's a big deal, and I think he trusts us to make plays in a lot of situations.
You've been in offenses for years now, and you've been around this for a while. What stands out to you about the way JT plays like that position?
Yeah, I don't know. He's really good. He seems like he makes play after play, long run after long run, explosive. He didn't have as many plays, and I guess the sweep was technically in the pass game, but he didn't have as many plays today as he's had throughout the season, but he's been really big in those situations throughout this season. So, yeah, just a dynamic football player, handling the ball, throwing the ball. Just when the ball's in his hands, he makes something happen for us.
Do you think you stole one from him there?
I didn't call the play.
You've been in offenses that really focus on that. How much do you think it helps that you guys are throwing the ball
I think it's a big deal, yeah, helping. I think, they both kind of play off each other, and when you're able to make plays in both the run game and the pass game, defenses can't key on one yeah. So I think it's a huge deal to be able to do both, and we've got to continue to work and progress both of them along the way, because defenses will study us and see what we're doing, and we're lucky we got really good coaches who have prepared us, have really good game plans week in and week out.
So do you feel like defenses are approaching you in any consistent way so far this season?
I don't know. I wouldn't say so. There's some things I think that show up. If you don't handle something as well, just kind of the way this league works, the next team will try to see if you can handle it, and I think we've done a really good job with a lot of that stuff. But I think credit to our coaches and how well they have us prepared, game plans week in and week out. Put us in really good position to make plays.
You studied this offense in the offseason coming here. What do you feel like you're noticing that you guys, this specific group here, are maybe doing better or executing on than this offense did a year ago?
I don't know. That's tough to say. Obviously, I watched the games and studied the offense as I was trying to learn it this spring. But I wasn't here, and I think tough to draw comparisons. I think just looking at what we're doing this year, it's about making plays in the run game and the pass game, being efficient, when we can, and executing. Executing the red zone's a big deal. I don't know what our third down. I don't know if we were as good today, but all those key situations.
Shane was talking.
How do you explain how you guys have been able to avoid turnovers to the extent that you have?
Yeah, I think we that's something that we harp on. Our coaches are always harping on, is protecting the ball, and when you're carrying it, making sure you're protecting it, and then making decisions that keep the ball safe. I think that's another spot where you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line. A lot of turnovers happen in dirty pockets or happen in situations where you have free runners or whatever they are, and our offensive line, that doesn't happen much with those guys. So big credit to them.
Did you hear the MVP chants for Jonathan today?
I I did, yeah. I think those were spot on.
You guys are pretty routinely hitting chunk plays on these third and way too longs, and you keep converting at a pretty high clip. From your vantage point as the quarterback and continuing drives, what are you seeing? Like, how much does that raise the confidence level for the rest of the guys to put points on the drive?
Yeah, I think it does a ton. I mean, anytime you have an explosive play or a chunk play in the drive on any down, it increases your chances to score by a lot. But yeah, third down or those situations are huge. I think Shane trusts us to make those plays. We got receivers who go up. Alex catch today was incredible, and we've had a number of those where guys have made really, really tough catches, and you're counting on the protection being good. They know you're going to throw it and drop back, and the protection's been really good. So I think that helps us for sure.
Shane was talking about how important winning in November and December are compared to September and October, but having a 7-1 start through these first 2 months, how big is that going into the tough slog that you're going to have in November?
Yeah, definitely helps to have the start we've had. I think, we know we have to continue to grow and develop as a team. Everyone in this league and the good teams continue to improve. So we know as we get through November and December, we'll need to continue to do that and play good football down the stretch because that's what's most important is those games November and then obviously into December.
That was quarterback Daniel Jones after the Colts in their 38-14 demolition of the Tennessee Titans. And again, we knew this wasn't a very good Titans team, but in years past and in the NFL in general, sometimes you see teams played down to the level of competition. We have not seen the Colts do that this season so far. When they have played lesser teams, and there have been some lesser teams on the schedule, they've managed to beat those teams handily. Maybe the one exception to that would have been the Arizona Cardinals. We kind of just don't know. The Cardinals cornerback and injury situation is kind of all over the map, but it is a good defense over there in Arizona. And the Colts had a tough time in that game. They needed kind of a comeback and those types of things to win that game. But everybody else, I mean, the two Titans games, the Miami Dolphins, the Raiders, they've been very poor teams that have come up against the Colts and have not been able to do much. So big credit to the Indianapolis Colts. Would also like to talk about Michael Pittman Jr. He played big in this game. Didn't quite get the 100 yards receiving this week. Very close. On that count, he had 8 receptions for 95 yards, including a touchdown catch that I still don't know how he caught the ball on that one. But Pitt is having a great season. He's already tied his career high for touchdown receptions in a season. And despite the fact that the Colts have not had a 100-yard receiver, I don't really think it matters. This Colts team, whether you're looking at Pitt, whether you're looking at Jonathan Taylor doing some stuff out of the backfield, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, really nice to have him back again this week, Tyler Warren. They've just got guys all over the place that can hurt you. And Pittman just the one drive for Pitt was kind of the Michael Pittman drive. He had the one that kind of glanced off his hands and he reached up and he was able to reel in that pass. Reminded me of the AFC Championship game a little bit with Reggie Wayne kind of having a similar catch for the Colts. And then able to just, with a cornerback draped all over him, able to just kind of get the one arm out there to, catch the ball and get the touchdown for the Colts. And that was another big play in a game full of them for the Indianapolis Colts. So big props to Michael Pittman Jr. on that. Now, Alec Pierce had another huge catch on third down. You just, they know what they're doing out there. Even when things don't go right, sometimes on offense, they're able to recover from those things. About the only time they didn't really able to recover was they did a little kind of a gadget play with Ashton Doolin. He got hit for an 8-yard loss, and the Colts weren't able to do much out of that drive. But, Rigoberto Sanchez punted 4 times. I hope he iced his leg after the game compared to what we've seen from him this year. But, it's great. I did want to say, they haven't had a 100-yard receiver this season. I don't really think it matters, to be perfectly honest. But Pitt came close. He had 95 yards this week. And then last week, Alec Pierce came very close. He had 98 yards worth of receiving. And, when we're getting steady production from guys, I don't really think it matters. It's sort of pick your poison for the Indianapolis Colts offense. I mean, even Warren, He had 5 targets in this game, 4 catches for 53 yards for the young tight end. Still a factor in the offense. They're still able to scheme him open somehow. And it's just kind of one of those mind-boggling things about how that keeps happening. Now, let's take a look one more time at those AFC South standings for the Indianapolis Colts. Again, sitting at 7-1. They got a nice lead right now in the division. When's the last time you're able to say that the Colts have set themselves up well for the postseason and a playoff run? We've not seen this in a long time, and it just makes a difference when you've got a quarterback that's clicking on all cylinders. You've got the offensive line that's playing well. You've got the running back that is showing generational talent. You've got that group of receivers and your new tight end that are able to make plays as well. And then defensively, while the Colts defense, I don't think anyone would ever call a dominant unit, does enough every week as far as getting a little bit of pressure sometimes on the interior. You want to get they've schemed up some things to get DeForest Buckner one-on-one with guards. Is going to win that matchup every single time with his swim move. He did it against the Chargers and did it again this week against the Titans. You get guys, they didn't have a turnover until later in this game, and that was when the B team was in, right? Chris Lamons is out there, intercepts a pass from Cam Ward to stop a touchdown drive from the Titans, so they're able to keep their turnover streak intact. Just everything coming up Indianapolis Colts right now. And you'd love to see it because, honestly, it's been kind of a tough few years for the fan base. And so to see this Colts team just continue to do what it needs to do as a fan, just great time. So let's hope they can keep this momentum going. They've got the Steelers on the road next week. And then they have a home game against the Atlanta Falcons. That's the Berlin game, and then they'll hit the bye week. So we'll see. Will they hit the bye week at 9-1? Will they hit the bye week at 8-2? Will they lose their next couple of games? I don't think that'll be the case, but it's the NFL, and you just don't know. But for now, for the Blue Zone podcast, for Mike Chappell and Dave Griffiths, I'm Matt Adams. Thanks for watching and for listening, and we'll have a game preview of that Pittsburgh matchup later this week.